Lisa, are you ready for us to start?
Just 1 second. Connection here is just slow. Just 1 second. So you hear how that feedback here's from you right there. Okay, we're ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to call the North Ridgeville Board of Zoning and Building Appeals meeting to order. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic,
for one nation,
Stands.
under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please take roll?
Members of the board, Kane,
Here.
Smolik, he is excused. Masterson,
here,
Thibodeau,
Here.
Winkle,
Here.
Kimball,
Here.
members of the administration, Chief Building Official Fursden is absent. Assistant Law Director Morgan,
I'm here.
all present with one excuse.
Thank you. Considering that our planning commission liaison is absent this evening, I'm assuming there's no reports to come from planning. Are there any other reports or correspondence to come from the board this evening? Hearing none, we will move on to the public hearings. Will the clerk please read the first application?
Applicant Tim Sherrill, Great American Structure, 7112 Root Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Owner Tim Sherrill, 7112 Root Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Requesting approval for a 3,179 square foot lot coverage, requiring a 65 square foot variance for the construction of a storage building. A variance to North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance, Section 1294.03E4. Location, 7112 Root Road in an R1 Residence District. Permanent parcel number 0700021118-039. Building inspector's comments. Section 1294.03E4, residential lots greater than ½ acre allowed 10% lot coverage. Applicant allowed 3,114 square foot of lot coverage. Applicants requesting 3,179 square foot lot coverage, requiring a 65 square foot variance. BZA approval required.
Thank you. Do we have a representative here this evening? Mr. Sherrill?
Yes.
Okay. If you could do me a favor and state your name and address for the record, and I will swear you in.
Tim Sherrill, 7112 Root Road, North Ridgeville, Ohio.
Thank you. And do you swear and affirm that the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the City of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of law of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your application?
From my understanding, when I talked to the building inspector, it was only 50 square foot over. I'm wanting to tear down the old original garage that was here since the house was built, and just put a bigger structure on my property to store. I build custom cars and motorcycles, and I just need a place to store everything. This one, the roof is caved in. It's been here probably since the house was built. So it's pretty rough. It has old barn doors on it that are falling off, and I need something new.
Gotcha. What size is the structure you plan on building?
30 by 50.
I'm aware of where your property is located, and I will say, going down that section of road, there are definitely several large structures and barns throughout that stretch. And truthfully, a 65 square foot variance seems to be pretty insignificant on a 30 by 50 garage. I don't see how anyone would be able to drive down the street and say, well, that's clearly 65 square feet too large on a barn that's big, it's that large. So I believe it will fit in fine with the neighborhood and won't be a visual obstruction or stand out in any way.
Hey,
Great.
if you look across the street from him, the building behind that house is probably a 24 by 40. So I mean, it's not that much different. I mean, so
Chairman,
let's see it being an issue.
I've seen several large buildings, and my only question for Mr. Sherrill, are you going to be taking down the garage itself and the aluminum awning you have in front of the garage?
Yes.
Those are coming down?
Well,
Are
not the aluminum awning, that's getting moved. I told the builder inspector what I was doing with that, but the whole garage is getting tore down and demolished.
Okay, are you keeping the shed in the backyard?
Yeah, because he said that I'm far enough away from all my other buildings. The shed in the backyard is actually almost brand new. When I say brand new, it's been rebuilt, prior to us buying the house in 2004. It's got a new roof and everything on it. And he said that we had plenty of room, from the distance of the garage that I'm building to that building.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you very much, sir.
Are there any questions or comments from any of the other board members? Are there any questions or comments from the administration?
Not for me, no thanks.
Thank you. Are there any questions from YouTube Live?
There are no questions at this time.
Great. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the variance.
Do we have a second?
Second, I second.
Thank you. Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Masterson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Motion carries with a vote of 4-0.
Sir, we will send you a signed approval in the mail here shortly.
Okay.
And you were all set from that aspect.
Okay, thank you. Now, do I got to wait for that approval before I can tear this garage down and so on and so forth?
You should have to, or you should contact the building department. And they
Okay.
will advise you on the next steps to go.
Okay.
Okay.
I do have one question because this is my first time ever doing this.
Sure, no problem.
What's the waiting, a couple weeks maybe or longer or what? Or
For the approval of your permit, that all depends on how backlogged the building department is.
okay,
Sometimes it can be a week or two, sometimes it could be 4 or 5 weeks.
okay,
But it all depends on how it's going at the building department.
okay. All right, not a
Okay.
problem. That's all I need to know. Thank you very much.
Sounds good. You have a good evening.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the next application?
Applicant Danielle Salika, Columbia Fence, 33549 East Royalton Road, unit number 31, Columbia Station, Ohio, 44028. Owner Rob Kauza, 34150 Gem Circle, North Ridgeville, Ohio, 44039. Requesting a variance to North Ridgeville Codified Ordinance Section 1294.01H3 for a 3-foot gate requiring a 1-foot variance. Location 34150 Gem Circle in an R1 Residence District. Permanent parcel number 0700018101122. Building inspector's comments. Section 1294.01H3, residential lots require a 4-foot gate within 10 feet of dwelling. Applicant requesting 3-foot gate requiring a 1-foot variance.
Thank you. Do we have a representative here this evening? I think you'll have to unmute your microphone.
Sorry, I forgot the dogs.
No problem. No problem.
This is Danielle with Columbia Fence.
Hi, Danielle. Could you state your address and I'll swear you in for the record.
33549 East Royalton Road, Unit 1, Columbia Station, Ohio 44028.
Thank you. And do you swear affirm the statements you're about to make in front of this Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the city of North Ridgeville are true as you shall answer unto God or under the penalties of the law of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. Could you please tell us a little bit about your application?
We went and installed a fence at 34150 Gem Circle. We replaced an existing fence and our installer did an exact swap out and unfortunately only made the gate 3 feet 1 inches wide. I was asking if we could make a variance to keep it at that. We could dig up the fence post and move it 11 inches. Of course, that's gonna make the ground less stable for the new fence post and it could cause warping or leaning in the future. The homeowner, Rob, does have another gate on the other side that's 8 foot wide. So I was just hoping that we would not have to tear that out for him. The original gate was only 3 foot 1 inch.
Okay, thank you. I've been by the property and the fence looks beautiful. It was a very nice job, by the way.
Thank you.
One question I have though, since you said it is a exact match of what was there, did you guys use the existing 4x4 or whatever size post you use, or did you put in all new?
I believe that we put in new. So he would have taken the existing fence post out with the footer and put in a new one in that hole. I don't know that for certain, but he did say that it was, I didn't ask that exact question, but he did say it was an exact replacement with the same measurements as the original gate. So it would only make sense that they use the same hole.
Gotcha.
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I went to the property today, spoke with the homeowner. They are new post. They just use the same holes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chairman?
Yes.
I do have a question. We have seen quite a few variance requests come in from your company the last year. And then you guys are doing the work and then coming back and asking for forgiveness after things have been done. Are you going to be continuing doing this in the future?
No, I have, I've spoke to the owner about it. And I believe he spoke to Guy as well several times, and Guy's made it very clear that this needs to cease.
I mean, I'm talking to you, not the homeowner. You're the contractor, and it's your responsibility to know what the rules and regulations are. I think
Yes.
it's very admirable of you that you're here instead of the homeowner on behalf of them to plead the case. Just like Neil and both the chairman said, there is an 8-foot fence. I don't have any problem. The variance that you're asking for is very small, but this is like not the first one, and there's just been several variances after the fact with your company. And I'm just asking, is there anything else that we need to be prepared for coming down the pike?
3 different properties were brought to my attention last year or the beginning of this year. And we spoke to Guy and he asked me to, request variances for them. I believe Brian, and when I said owner, I meant the owner of Columbia Fence. I apologize, not the homeowner. Brian did go to court and I believe that they determined that he would file for variances for the homeowners. And we would go from there. If they were approved, fine. If not, then Brian will have to make the changes necessary.
Are there 2 more coming, or is this
Yes.
the last?
There are 2 more coming. This is the first one of the 3.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions or comments from any of the board members?
Mr. Chairman, when
Yes, sir.
When Columbia Fence pulled the permit for an exact swap out, didn't they submit a plan, and why didn't we catch this in the beginning instead of at the end? I kind of go along with the mess over there that this keeps reoccurring. Are we going to keep letting it reoccur when we could handle this up front and make them change it, or prove it up front instead of at the tail end of it?
Well, that's a hard question to answer right now, especially with Mr. Furza not being present. But I will say that I'm assuming, which is probably not the best way to go, but I would assume that they caught this on a final inspection. The typical process that would happen for inspections for fences is they would come and inspect probably once they dug the holes, and then after it was all completed, I would assume. But that is not my expertise. I am not in the fence building business, so I wouldn't put a whole lot of weight onto that. And it's been close to 20 years since I built my fence, so I forget exactly how the process works. But
I believe you're correct. I think they were caught upon final completion.
the final inspection.
Yeah.
Okay, Chairman, if I can add something, I
Yes,
did
please.
work with the county building department for a number of years. It is, people are issued a permit for the work they're doing. It is their responsibility to make sure that everything meets code. So as a fencing contractor, they know what the size is supposed to be. I understand that, you know, that's not the most levelest ground over there. I can see where it's happening, but it's the contractor's job to follow the codes. Call in for inspections, make sure that things are inspected to code. I just wanted to know where I was because I checked on complaints on both the previous applicant as well as this applicant today. So in checking the background of this, that's how I found out about there have been several, and there's going to be several more coming for this company. So.
Well, I don't claim to have the greatest memory, that's for sure. But I do remember that there's been at least one, potentially two already this year.
That's what I
In front of
thought.
our board with the same firm. And it sounds like this is the first of three. As someone who has pulled a number of permits, being in the building industry for many, many years, I do know that my permits from the city of North Ridgeville, when they were issued to me, were always very, very detailed and accurate of what was to be expected to be built. And without seeing the actual permit that was issued to them, I would assume that there would be the designations of what size gates you're allowed to use and so on. So this definitely seems to be a reoccurring issue. There's no doubt.
And I did want to add one thing. I know that our law department always tells us that each and every application's its own, and we shouldn't be looking at other circumstances. I just wanted to make sure that however we determine to vote on this one isn't the guarantee on how we're going to vote on the other one. Are we going to be seeing these other two applications next month?
Yes. They are Lilac Circle and Rustic Ridge.
Okay,
Well, we'll get to Lilac and Rustic when the appropriate time comes. But it is interesting to know that we have more on the horizon.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I guess like to add a little bit to the conversation here. As you know, I'm in the construction field too. A lot of times, and I'm not saying this happened here, but sometimes it can happen where a permit wasn't pulled and then the work was done, then the permit was pulled after the fact, and then the variance is needed to make it to satisfy code. I'm not saying it happened here. It's just another situation where something like this may have not been caught.
Thank you. Are there any Excuse me, any other questions or comments from any board members? Are there any questions or comments from the administration? Do we have any comments on YouTube Live?
There are no comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. At this time, the chair will entertain a motion.
I motion to accept the variance.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Second it.
Will the clerk please take roll?
Kane,
Yes.
Masterson,
Yes.
Thibodeau,
Yes.
Kimball.
No.
Motion carries with a vote of 3 to 1.
We will send you a signed copy in the mail in the next few days. And you are all set, and thank you for coming out this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Is there any other business to come in front of the board this evening?
Nope.
Hearing none, at this time, the chair makes a motion to adjourn. All those signify by aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Nice seeing you.
Night.
Bye.
Maybe we'll see everybody sometime.